So without further ado, let's get on to our program. Let me first re-welcome Jerry Poteet up here to the stage. Jerry represents Clear Sound Hearing here in Sedalia. So guys, please put your hands together for Jerry.
Thank you. Can everybody hear me okay? Okay. Well, as Jessica said, I'm with Clear Sound Hearing. I'm the owner of the company. I started it back in 2007, and we are located in Thompson Hill Shopping Center, next to Diane's office. Yeah.
Nice plug.
Yeah. So, I've been in this industry for 18 years, but I've only been on my own for the last 10 years. It's been a good move. One of the questions asked was how we earn income, and it's primarily by the sale of hearing aids. I consider us to be a hearing aid retailer. We also repair hearing aids. We also provide testing for industry. We work with Tyson's and Gardner Denver and Wireco and Sierra Bullets and some others here in town to provide that sort of service. But it's primarily the sale of hearing aids where we earn the majority of our income. The other things, providing hearing protection, providing hearing testing, are things that kind of lead into that sort of a thing. So we're happy to provide that, and it's a good service, that is needed here in the community. Another question asked was, what are the challenges that I face now and in the future? Early on, it was just business growth. Nobody knew who we are or what we did, and so we needed to gain more patients to have a base of patients to serve. And now, as we've matured, the biggest challenge is maintaining a very high level of service to our patients. That's something that has to be, you can't take it for granted. You have to continually be the best provider, strive to be the best provider in your respective areas, and that means a high level of patient care. Another thing is a challenge we face that is ongoing is creating an infrastructure for our company to handle increased growth. Sometimes growth can be a problem in that if you don't have the support structure internally to handle business growth, then you'll get to the point where your patient service will drop off. So you have to have the pieces in place to serve your patients and bring on increased growth. Also, another challenge is taking the information that you need from your business to make strategic decisions to stay profitable. So for me as a business owner, profitability is very important. It's very important to serve patients, but if you don't profit in the end, you're not going to perpetuate your service and help people to hear better. So profitability is very important, and we do our best to get the distilled important information we need from all of our information tracking and drive business decisions based on that. And that's a continual challenge, because for myself, I'm a dispenser. I still serve patients. I still fit people. And then I run the business as well. So I have support staff that helps with that. Another challenge is being able to disseminate throughout our company the mindset of not worrying about things that you cannot control. So, in our industry, there seems like there's always something coming down the pike that threatens to, change our industry and upset it. And things like over-the-counter hearing aids, becoming legal, the internet sale of hearing aids, also just other companies coming in, competition. I strive and promote a mindset that you can't worry about those things. You can't worry about competition. You can't worry about internet sales. They're outside of our control. The only thing that we can control is providing exceptional patient care in our respective markets. So that's very important, because if you have an employee that's worrying about that, again, it's going to affect, ultimately, in the end, it's going to affect the care that they give their patients. So those are the biggest challenges that we have. So that's it. Exciting stuff.
How much the changes in the insurance, Medicare, Medicaid, Medicaid, how does that affect you?
Yeah, insurance is it's a beneficial thing. Being able to work with insurance and receive income from that. It is becoming increasingly difficult to work with insurance, because each company that we work with has their own set of rules and codes and things that you have to comply with in order to receive the income. So we don't want to just ignore that, because it's a revenue stream for us. But so what I've done is I've taken a person and hired them to deal with that. And she's become the expert. She's the go-to person for checking insurance benefits and for filing and for collecting. And that's another thing that we've tried to use to separate ourselves from other companies, is that we want to make it easy for the patient to work with us. So we do all of the checking, all of the filing, to make it simple for the patient. Now with Medicare and Medicaid, we currently don't deal with them. The only way that we deal with, I take that back, we deal with them in a limited way, in that we file Medicare to get a denial so that we can go ahead and file secondary insurance. But that's on a limited level there. So we don't have much dealings with them. Yeah. Cliff?
Is ClearSound a franchise?
No. Yes, I started it from scratch in 2007.
And so you have multiple offices?
Yes, I think, yes, we have a couple of Illinois, but they're mainly in Missouri. We have 13 offices, and they're scattered throughout mid-Missouri, and then, Columbia, Jefferson City, down south to Ozark and Republic, Missouri, and on up to Galesburg, Illinois, which would be, a couple of hours south of Chicago. So.
Well, good or bad? Probably good. You have to look at a franchise.
Yeah.
Have you thought about franchising this? Because you can't be in all places at all times.
Right. Yeah, I have thought about that. What keeps me from it is the energy and the time and the effort involved to kind of monetize that opportunity. So, there's a lot of opportunities to earn additional income, but you have to kind of pick and choose, because time is so limited, But yeah, that is something I've thought about on and off for years. Yeah.
What factors did you consider in opening each of those offices? Because I imagine what was your first office location, and then what were you considering when you opened your own office?
Yeah, that's a good question. The first office we opened was right here, and the main factor is because my family was here. And but when we evaluate other communities to determine whether or not we're going to go in there, the number one thing we determine, okay, does this community, does this market look underserved? That is ideal for us. We want to serve people that are not getting good hearing aid service. That's the main driver. We have to look at population as well. You're generally better off going into a town that has 10,000 people or more versus 3,000 people, because no matter how good your service is, you cannot overcome a lack of population. So, you have to go into a town size that's pretty large. And then the smaller communities, they're used to coming into larger communities to do their banking and doctoring and things like that. So anyway, those are the two big factors. And then for our employees, how far do they have to drive to get there? That's a consideration too. So, good question.
From a growth standpoint, are there additional markets that you're looking at, or where do you see the company 5 years from now?
Yeah. I don't have a good answer for you as far as where we're going to be 5 years from now. We've always kind of grown in an organic fashion. There are companies that just buy offices and they expand everywhere. We tend to look at, if it makes sense for our company. The number one thing, in my opinion, that hinders growth or whether we go into a market is can you find a quality provider that shares the same values of high-level patient satisfaction to grow with. So, when we look at growing, we look for people first. And if they're high-quality people in terms of their willingness to serve people at a high level, then we look for a market for them that makes sense, and then all the other factors that we addressed earlier, we see if those fall into place. But the number one is for growth is finding the right people, good people.
Can you speak to the resources or the types of research that you do in order to look at those markets?
Yeah. Early on, it was very simple. I wouldn't recommend this, but that's just how we did it. I would just get on a computer, Google hearing aids in Ozark, Missouri, and see what providers popped up. And if it looked like a large population with a relatively small number of providers, then I started looking at that more closely. How strong do the other competitors seem? Because you can have 5 competitors in one location, but they may not be good providers. That's an opportunity. You can have one provider in one location, they provide excellent service. That's a problem if you're looking at going into that community. So now we've gotten a little more refined. We've partnered with a manufacturer, and they run reports that give you very distilled, focused information on how viable a community is, if they're underserved and so forth. So, yeah.
So it seems to me that hearing aids are customized to the individual. So how would online sales be successful? I mean, that's part of your value proposition, obviously.
Yeah, that's a good question. Internet sales is an interesting model. I don't personally, dislike internet sales. I'm not involved in it, but I don't dislike it. And, internet sales, there's a certain segment of our market that's going to go to internet sales. And, the main advantage there is that you can buy hearing aids less expensive. They've essentially commoditized hearing aids, right? You go there, you purchase it. There's really not much customer care after that. The main driver is price, okay? So the way that we've dealt with that is we kind of think that is something that is going to be the first foray, like a patient's first foray into the hearing aid world. And then when they experience that hearing aid and better hearing and they want the best care, then they'll eventually seek us out. So does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, any other questions? Yes.
So how many employees do you have total? How many employees do you average per location?
Yeah.
How many customers do you serve?
Yes. We have 10 employees, and we have a couple of administrative staff. We have 3 administrative staff and 7 providers. So on average, our providers go to 2 and 3 locations. So let's see. You had another question.
Customers do you serve maybe on a yearly basis?
Yeah. I don't have a good answer. I should know that, but I don't. I know our patient database is in the thousands, maybe several thousand, maybe around 5,000 to 7,000 range. How many we serve on a yearly basis? Maybe, and I could be way off, but maybe around 1,000. So.
I thought it was interesting when you first took the stage. You said, "Can you hear me okay?" I didn't know if that was a test.
No, that wasn't planned. Yeah.
Question is, you talked about how internet sales was a concern for some of your staff members. Have you found that you had to up your game with your level of branding and advertising on the internet or through social media, things like that? Just
Yeah.
to kind of combat the online sales?
Well, I don't know if this answers your question, but I don't really directly combat internet sales because the way I look at it, whether it's internet sales or a competitor, they're going to do the best job that they can. Okay, so I don't make decisions based on what they're doing. So that simplifies things. The foundation of our business, I feel, is providing excellent patient care. And then that seems to take care of everything else. If we're doing that, we're going to be okay.
So you probably have a lot of referrals then because of the good care that you give.
I think that we do, yes. Yes. Mm-hmm.
You open a branch in this market and it's underperforming, or again, you're surprised by the performance. How do you adjust?
Yeah. We have gone into markets and have lost a lot of money. And so we have to look very closely at what's going on there. When we open a market, we don't do it in a rash way where we go in and we pull out. We know that if we're going in there, we want to be there long term. We want to give it a lot of time to work. And so the first thing we do is we just try to be patient, and that's hard to do even though you're losing money. But over time, you want to see incremental growth, and if you don't see that, then you need to start looking at the information to see where you're losing money unnecessarily. What is the problem? Is it the service? Is it ineffective advertising or some other factor? You have to pinpoint what the problem is and eliminate it. Look to eliminate it. So, does that answer your question?
I read somewhere that one of the challenges in your business is that people really don't want to come to see somebody like you for your is that true? And why is that?
Yeah, that is an inherent challenge in our business, that nobody wants to come in to buy hearing aids. They're coming in because they have a problem. And so generally when a patient comes in, they're there reluctantly. They may be even there against their own will. And so you have to be able to show them what the problem is and why they're having communication difficulty. and then hopefully it'll become apparent that it is the right decision for them to go forward with amplification. So we try to give them a shot of reality as to what's going on and why they need our services. So,
I'd like to hitchhike on that. I was in a similar situation. I currently have hearing aids, and for several years prior to that, my wife kept saying, "Go, go, go, go." And I said, "No, no, no, no." Just it's hard to accept the fact that you're losing your hearing, and you think you're not. But after I did, and I went, I'm really happy. The only thing that I'm unhappy about was the extraordinarily price of them. And why are they so expensive?
Yeah, well, number one is the reason they're expensive is because they're expensive for us. So the price from the manufacturer goes up, and there are a lot of costs involved that most people aren't aware of that go into building a customized device. Another thing too is, if you come to, just for full disclosure and transparency, if you come to a provider like me, part of the price of that is the service end of it. You're paying for the hearing instrument, you're paying for the provider, you're paying for me, okay, to serve you. But the thing is that what you're really after is better hearing, okay? You're not coming to me to buy hearing aids, you're coming to me to hear better. And we feel that in order to position you to hear as well as possible, you have to have a good device and a good provider. They're very, as you know, they're very customized. Everybody's hearing is different. Everybody's lifestyle is different, and you have to tune that instrument and counsel that patient to get the best hearing possible.
So Jerry, you wear a lot of hats, and you had mentioned that you don't necessarily have the time that you like to spend on the business part. So what percentage of your time can you actually spend on your business, on growing that, versus the amount of time that you like to spend?
Okay, would you repeat that again? I'm sorry. What?
No, that's okay. You're busy, so you don't have as much time to spend on your business growing it as you would like. Is that
yes, yes.
So what percentage of time do you actually get to spend on your business, and what does that other side look like? What kind of time would you like to be able to spend on your business?
Yeah, so I spend maybe 15 to 20% on the business, and the other percentage is serving patients, okay? And I'd like that to be even less. Not the patient side, that's what I enjoy. It's the business side that I wouldn't say I don't enjoy it, but it's not, my focus is serving patients. So the way that I deal with that is that, I've hired good people to run the administrative side of it, and then of course I look at all the, she gives me reports, I look at it, make decisions based on that. But all of the work involved with the administrative side, I try to delegate as much as possible so I can focus on serving patients.
What about growing your business?
Growing is on my shoulders primarily. Okay. So if I'm looking at growth activities, then I'm assessing a market, and then I'm using my administrative staff to get me the information that I need. Yeah.
Okay, I have one last question. Jerry, what can we as a community do for you?
Come in and get a free hearing evaluation. There's no cost involved. There's no obligation. We just want to serve as many people as we can. We want to build as many relationships as we can in the community and get to know as many people as possible. So.
Jerry,
thank you.